This is the video for setting up the case camera from CLR Analytics. As it comes with the box, this is the case camera you get, and these are the accessories come with a lock and key and the locking cable to strap it to the pole. And when you have the case camera, when you open it up, it comes with the SD card and the locking stripes that you use to strap it to the light pole or wherever you want to strap it to. And inside the case camera, this camera, router, the development board, and some cables. Okay, so to get it running, you need a 12 volt 9 amp hour battery. We use this specific one, and make sure you have the Velcro attached to this side of the battery. Then you also have Velcro attached to the bottom of the camera. Then when you open up the camera, you want to test it, just put the battery in. Okay, connect the positive end to the battery's positive terminal. Usually the red wire indicates it's the positive end. And then you put the battery sideways. Put this little cushion, making sure the wire goes through the bottom of the camera. Then the cushion goes here, so that this part is spared for the wire. Stuff it in, and then connect the negative terminal. Before that, you want to make sure the switch is actually at off, whereas it should be pointing down. Then connect the negative terminal to the battery. Okay, make sure it goes all the way. Then you may start testing it, but before that, if you do want to use the camera to record video, you need to put the SD card in. So I'm not going to open this one, but I'm just going to show you how to do it. So when you try to install the SD card, make sure the side with all the contacts is facing up. By up, I mean, the camera has the little logo on it, so that's the upside and that's the downside. So making sure the contact is facing up, and put it in to the correct spot over there. Okay, so it's down there. So usually you would want to do it when all the wires are disconnected like this. So just plug everything out. Should have done it earlier. Plug everything out, maybe on the side, and then put the card in, making sure when you try to push it in, it feels like the red spot. So you push it in, making sure you hear the little click sound. That means you put it right. Okay, so since we're not recording here, I'm gonna just take it out or just leave it in. Okay, then put all the wires back, the Ethernet cable, the camera power, and then the battery. Okay, now we have everything wired up. So we can go ahead and turn it on using a little switch here. As of now, we don't have the timer set it up, so it'll just start running. And make sure I'll go through how to set up the timer later. Make sure your lens cap is off. Absolutely. Okay, there we go. And then while it's starting, I'll show you how to set up the timer. So to set up the timer, there are 4 buttons at the bottom. The first one is the settings. The second one is change the digit that you're working on. The third one is to adjust the digit up. The last one is to adjust the digit down. Okay, so if you want to change it,
press and hold the first button, the setting button. Okay, then everything stops. The timer, the function light, which is the first light, the blue light, keeps on, and then the one is flashing. That means we're using function 1. You don't really care about that. Just go ahead and go to the next setting. So just press the setting once again. Okay, here's you saw 4 zeros, and these are the timer that you set up for the timer 1. There are 2 timers in this little board. So we're using timer 1. So you can set up to like 5, 2, 3, 4, 5. But that 5 has to multiply a number to be the final time that you set up. So we press the setting once again. So you see 5 again. That's confusing, but that is actually the timer setup for the second timer. As you see, the light changes to the timer 2, but we don't really use that, so we just go ahead and skip that. So press it again. Okay, so as you see, the first 2 digits indicates the multiplier for the timer 1, and the last 2 digits indicate the multiplier for timer 2. So we're using timer 1. So make sure you change the digit that you're working on all the way to here. So it's now set to 60. That means 1 minute. But what we really want is just 1 second. So just make that. Okay, so we set it up to 1. So the final time that we set up will be 1 times 5, which is 5 seconds. So once you're down, just press the setting and press and hold it. Okay, then you will start counting down to 0 and start everything. There we go. Okay, when the timer is up and everything start running, how do you know everything's running? First, the router should have some lights on, and this one, the camera, you should be able to see a red light over there. Since the control cable is right here, so it's hard to see the red light, but you can still see a little flash of it. Okay, so everything seems to be working. So the next step would be using a laptop or a tablet to connect to the router here so that we can get access to the camera. Okay, the camera is number 5, so we actually have case cam 5. It's already connected. It's no internet access, but that's fine. Okay, then we go here. Okay, change the IP address to 192.168.77. 77 is the domain that we're using, and 205 as the IP for this camera, and port 81. That's what we set up for the camera. And okay. So at this page, you have to use the username admin and password 12345 to access to the camera. Once you end this page, the default page is live view, so that you can see what the camera is actually recording, or what the view is like in the camera right now. Okay, we're gonna come back to this later. So in the configuration page, there are a couple things. First is for the system, every time you connect the camera and when you use it to record video, you want to make sure the time is correct. So to do that, you can either use the up section, where you actually give the insert a dongle to the router so that it has internet access, so that you can just have it sync time automatically, or you can just sync the time on this laptop or tablet, then sync it with the camera. For the network section, we have everything already set up. You can also play with it if you want. So these are the port we're using, and that is the IP. So video setup, you can set up according to wherever needs you want. we set up to record only the video stream and have the resolution set it to the highest and everything set it to wherever we want it. And in the image tab we have the display setting where you can actually adjust the image like to make it make the contrast higher, image light brighter and darker, stuff like that, and adjust the shutter speed if you want. It can go all the way to 100,000. Okay, and then we have the security part where you can just change the username and password, and the storage tab is where you want to really pay attention to. You want to have a schedule that sets to wherever time you use it to record video. So wherever you see the blue box, that means that time is scheduled for recording. So whenever it's available, the camera will start recording. And also, very important, you see there's a HDD that it recognizes, which is the micro SD card that we insert in. Make sure before you record, format it so that it can actually refresh the whole file system and be able to record. I'm not gonna do it here, but you can definitely do it. It takes a little time though. And then at the down portion, we usually set it to the percentage to record pictures to 0 because we don't really need pictures, but you can set up to wherever you want. Okay, that's about the settings. So we can go back to the live view. You can see it's pretty blurred right now because the focus is loose. So that to adjust it, we go ahead here. So there are basically two things to adjust here at the lens. So this part is for the zoom level. So you can, for this particular lens, it goes all the way from 8mm to 40mm as the zoom level. So we're gonna leave it at 20 just for testing purposes. And this little lever here is for adjusting the focus here. So as I'm adjusting it, you can see the view is changing because the focus is changing. So make sure you get the best focus. Okay, that's about it. And then you can actually full screen. So, and then use this little screw here to tighten it down so that the focus does not move around. Okay, once you do that, you can also tighten down the locking screw for the zoom level if you want. Okay, once you have all that down, the camera is pretty much set up. So you can go ahead and close it and strap it to a pole, or you can do it like the other way around, strap it to a pole and then set up the camera. Doesn't really matter. So since we already set it up, we can go ahead and close it. And sometimes we do want to have the camera turn off and close it and strap to the pole, then have the timer set up so that after a while, say 12 hours, the camera will turn on automatically. That's all what the timer does. So go ahead and close it. Make sure no wire is staying at the edge of this thing because it'll crush them. So when you close it, it should feel pretty good, as you can just very easily making the two sides of the case touch each other without any obvious obstacles in the middle, so that you know it is okay. If you have something in your way like that, then you can see it takes a little bit of effort to make them touch together. That's pretty easy. Okay, so we're just close it, then strap it to the wall.